Teammates, we are back once again. If this is your first time listening to the Move Swiftly podcast, welcome to the number one show on innovative teamwork. Great to have you. Fantastic to have you, actually. Looking forward to having you back for more. To my regular listeners, you hit the play button. You know what goes down when you hit the play button on this show. The obstacles, the challenges, the things that may be getting in your way, the roadblocks, the whatever it is, you fill in the blank, whatever it is you're going through that's in the way of you getting towards your goals. We are here to tell you indirectly that you are not going through it alone. Today, I have Idan Shpizear, founder of 911 Restoration. And I'm telling you, it's something, it's like divine intervention. The fact that he's on this show right now, seeing that I currently reside in South Florida, and at the date of me recording this, we are still picking up the pieces from what Milton has left, and Helene, and all of the things that have gone on when it comes to these hurricanes. And you have a business that is so philanthropic in its endeavors, so philanthropic in the way you got started, that I can't wait to really dive into it with you. So all that being said, Idan, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. I'm excited to be here with you. Yeah, and it's actually, as you're saying, the storm is still happening while we're
While we're
recording this.
recording, man.
Yeah.
And the thing about what when I listen to your story and I listen to the way you came up, so much of it is really about that bootstrapping mentality. You're not from the area, you're from Israel, and you had to come here. I believe you had, what was it, like $800 in a Volvo or something like that. And there were so
Yeah.
many things that were like in your way and in terms of building your business. So I'd love for you, before we really dive into your business, to kind of talk to us a little bit about your come up and your come up story, and how you were able to, first of all, land here, and then some of the things that you had gone through as you were, starting off and stuff like that.
Yeah, of course. So as you said, I finished my service and I worked as a bellboy and a gardener for about 2, 3 months. Was able to save about $800 to 1,000, and
Now, when,
good
when you say service, do you mean you served in the army
in
or?
the Israeli army. Yeah,
Oh, in Israel. Okay, okay.
yeah. And yeah, and a good friend of mine was okay. Let's go to America. Like I'm not gonna go there. Why? I knew I'm not gonna go to school or university or any of it. And he's like, no, no, no. We need to go there. This is America, the land of opportunities. Let's just go. And I'm like, listen, we barely speak the language. We don't know anything. We don't know anybody. Like, how are we gonna do it? Like, let's just go. And
Mhm.
I thought it's crazy. I woke up a day after in the morning, and I'm like, you know what? Let's go.
Hmm.
A week after, we were here,
Yeah.
America,
Man.
landed not really speaking the language, not really knowing anything, but just things work out. But we had the mindset of like, listen, we'll figure it out. We have
Yeah.
no idea, but we'll figure it out. And
Right.
things worked out. When you're out there and you're trying and you're pushing hard, somehow things will work out as long as you're staying open for it, right? To some
Right.
degree. And
Right.
yeah, so from there, somebody was nice enough to give us a work as a carpet cleaner. We cleaned carpet for about a year, just drove around. He sent a lot of coupons out.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, we just cleaned carpet for some time. Through the carpet cleaning, we discovered the restoration industry, water damage, mold, fire.
Hmm.
We became independent, kind of build our own business, learn about the online lead generation, scale the business.
Right.
Uh, we went from 250K a year to $3 million a year and north of it in about a year and a half. So that was a crazy experience, right? And the same time, one bedroom apartment. We lived with the 3, 4 other guys, so 5 guys in one bedroom apartment.
Hmm.
First few months, we just slept on the carpet. We
Hmm.
went to 99-cent store for like $1. We used to buy this instant noodle type of thing. This is kind of the only thing we ate.
I had a lot of those in
But
college.
but it was amazing. It was a crazy experience,
Yeah.
right?
So
Very
walk
much.
us through this though, because what kind of time frame are we talking about when you get here and you immediately start going through the carpet cleaning service? Because was this around the time that social media was around where you can actually advertise online? Because, or was it like your door to door, hey, can I clean your carpet? Door to door, can I get and clean your carpet? Walk us through those times because I
Yeah.
myself had an experience where I was actually selling kitchen knives door to door. I wasn't doing what you the kitchen knives door to door business. That's rough, man. Those are some
Yeah.
learn a lot of lessons, but it's like, man, it's a tough business in order to actually generate revenue for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. No, there was no internet, no social media, none of it. I mean, I remember one of the nights we took this, it was a small books that they get in supermarkets where it lists all the management companies in the area.
Hmm.
We basically took a blank page and we wrote on it, we can help you with water damage, carpet cleaning, or anything else you need, and we can be there out there and we can be there tomorrow to meet with you. And we just sat there all night and just faxed the one page to
Oh,
every management company in the area. So this was one thing. The other thing is we created signs that
mhm.
says we can help you with mold and water damage, and we just hang them in every streets around our house. And the police would come every other day. You need to come take the signs down. We took them down a week after. We put them in another area.
Yeah, I'm saying sometimes you got to move around the law,
You
man. If,
just
if you
to
really
do
about your business, you got to do that.
exactly. So really anything, knocking on doors, making phone calls, sending fax, even parking the van, right? After we paint the van and we had the company names on it, I
Mhm.
would just go to gas station in good areas and says, listen, I'm going to give you $100. Let me just park my van right here in
Mhm.
that corner. And I'm sitting there. I'm saying like, okay, there's so many cars driving by. What
Yeah.
is the chance that I'm going to get somebody to call me? And we just did it again and again. So it was really doing whatever we can
Hmm.
because also we were in a situation that I don't have anything to fall back on. So I
Right.
didn't have the situation where I can call my parents, hey, listen, I'm not doing good. Can you send me another $1,000 or $2,000? That was not like I knew I just have to find a way to make it.
Yes. Now, walk us through the discovery phase, though, because as you're talking, I'm really going back to or trying to picture what the day to day was like for you. Is it that you're cleaning these carpets and now you're noticing, hey, there's water damage in this house. Maybe I can help with that too. I'm noticing mold in this house. Is that where the discovery phase sort of happened? Can you walk us through a little bit about where you went from, all right, I'm not just going to do carpets, but now we're going to show a bigger problem because you're right. That's something that people really would pay for over time if you let that water damage too much. As you can tell, as you can see, especially for my fellow South Floridians, as you
Yeah.
can tell, that becomes a huge, a major problem that you're going to spend up to like, what, five figures on.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think about 8, 9 months in,
Hmm.
we got a call for a flooded house. Now we just knew carpet cleaning, right? So we went out there and we just extract the water. And for us, we charge $500, $600. It was a lot of money for us.
Hmm.
What we noticed is as we extracting the water, we're almost done. Another company came in with blowers and dehumidifiers, and a restoration company. Well, now we knew nothing about it. So there's two things that I noticed is like, okay, so there's a second part to this project that I didn't know anything about.
Hmm.
And what I learned after that they charge about $15,000 for that project. I'm like, okay, I see the opportunity
Around
here.
there, right? Yeah.
All right, now my $600 don't look that much when I'm saying, okay, they charge $15,000 and I'm already here.
Yeah. Yeah.
I already
Yeah.
here
You're
with
already in the
the
home. You're
homeowner.
in the home.
Yeah. And the second part that I noticed is the homeowner is going through an emotional disaster. Like
Hmm.
they're really like, think about it. You wake up in the morning or something happened, your house is flooded. Like, how I'm going to pay for it? How is it going to work with the insurance? It's a mess going on. For most people, their house is the biggest investment. And now I have my family and my kids, and I need to take care of them. And it's all that happening at the same time.
Hmm.
So I noticed that this company, the company that came in, the only thing that they do is they create a bigger mess, set up all the equipment, get the homeowner to sign all this long document,
Hmm.
and nobody's paying attention to the homeowners going through an emotional disaster. So that was the first experience I had.
Hmm.
A month after, I got another phone call, and I'm seeing the same thing again and again. I'm like, okay, I see an opportunity here to create something where we actually pay attention to what the homeowner is going through.
Yeah.
And I can learn what they do with the blowers, dehumidifiers, and on and on. So I started buying every dollar that we made, we just bought more equipment. At one point, we had 10 or 15 blowers, we had a few DUs, we moved from the Volvo into a van. And
Hmm.
now we're saying, okay, the next call, we're just going to do everything.
Yeah.
And we took care of the homeowner and we took care of the flooded house. And we said like, wow, we can really create this great experience.
Right.
So we did a few of them again and again. Now we went from making, $300-400 for a carpet cleaning. Now we're making 6,000, 15,000, 20,000. Like, okay, we can really start investing in more equipment. So we
Right.
kept investing in more equipment. We bought another van. And then at one point, because the owner of the carpet cleaning, he really wanted to do carpet cleaning. We said,
Hmm.
oh, how can we move on and start doing it on our own? Right. So we worked with him something. There was a few companies that were combined. We took one out of it and we just start building our business.
Now, what was the learning curve though? Because it's as I'm thinking about it, a flooding house, it just has to be difficult to get all that water out. Like, was there some sort of a certification that you needed when it
Yeah.
comes to the equipment, figuring out how to use the equipment the right way? Because I would imagine you're not just jumping from, okay, I'm cleaning carpets to now, okay, I got a whole house that I gotta
Yeah.
unflood and stuff like that. So what was that learning curve like and how were you able to adapt to that?
Yeah, so for water damage mold, there is a certification by IICRC, right? So we went through the certification. So we did like a 3-day course of how to do the water damage, how to deal with with the billing, because we need now to bill the insurance company. So we need to learn how to work with Xactimate, what type of equipment. There is also a lot of science behind drying a house, right? We
Mhm.
need to make sure that the house dries in a certain way. We need to make sure that we understand the different drywall and wood floor and carpet and what's the best way to deal with the thing. So we just went through the certification and learned more. And once you get into something and you're very curious and passionate about it, we start meeting with the right people that give us more guidance. We look to hire people that have more experience in water damage and mold,
Mhm.
right? So we just went through these steps. I mean, but we did it pretty fast,
Right.
right? So instead of taking a year to learn everything, we're like, okay, how can we really get fully into it? And
Mm.
in 1 month or 2 months, can we do all the certification? Can we
Right.
start finding the right people? Right. One of the things that I'm big on is take massive action.
Yes.
Right. So I see something, I want to get into it. I'm just going to do whatever I can do
Hmm.
to learn it as fast as I can.
Right. And so much of what I want making sure, especially as you listeners, listen, so many of you guys and so many people have this misconception about if I go to college or if I just get this degree, I'm going to be okay. What you are debunking, the myth that you're debunking just based on how your story went is, look, this was something that was already working. I already had the audience for this. I already had the audience from my carpet cleaning business. I saw a need and then I took massive action to get these certifications and then learn these things. And that's what's been valuable to me. Every last one of you have got to go through that process. You cannot just be going to school for going to school sake. You're not just getting certified to get certified, quote unquote. Everything has to be sort of a force multiplier or a synonymous relationship where you had the audience, you had the clientele, you had the people before. Now you go pursue whatever certifications which is going to make you more attractive and more lucrative to your specific client. Because eventually, what you actually decide to do, which I thought was the most brilliant part, or probably the best thing that you could have done, was that F word. And I'm talking about franchise, right? Franchise, and you were able to build this process out to where now it's called 911 restoration. And when I first came across your company, I thought you were teaching other franchises how to go franchise when in fact it's actually a service, but you're also doing that at the same time. So please just walk us through a little bit about how you're able to establish this as you and your partner. And then now it's like, okay, let's go franchise and really break the bank, baby. Really
Yeah.
do what we
Yeah.
got to do.
Yeah. So we honestly we didn't even think to become a franchise, right?
Really?
So for us, yeah, yeah, it just kind of things work out in a certain way, and when
Yeah.
opportunity came and we recognize something, we're just saying, okay, can we explore it? Can we just jump through this thing, right? So part of the journey going from carpet cleaning to my own restoration company, and then at one point, I'm sitting evening, I'm having dinner, and I'm hearing two guys talking about, and this was around 2003. Google AdWords, that there is a way to advertise online. And I don't think it was called Google AdWords, it was something else. And I'm
Mhm.
listening to them like, okay, online, internet, lead generation. I have to explore this thing. I went back that night and I spent hours on the internet trying to figure out what do they mean by putting my ad online. I think this was 2003. This was
And
all
the
new.
thing is, Google wasn't that big of a deal then, though.
Right?
It really was not as much as it is now.
Exactly. A few days after, so I put my first ad. I figured out I didn't have a website. I just put the ad and put my phone number
Yeah.
instead of a website. And I say
Right.
if somebody's gonna see it, they can just call me and I'll go there. A
Right.
day after, I got a first phone call, and
Mhm.
then every day after that, we generate leads for water damage. That's how we scaled the company from 250 to 3 million in about a year and a half.
Mhm.
Um, right. So when that happened around the end of 2005 when Katrina happened,
Mhm.
right? New Orleans, the same thing that we got, but it was
Yeah.
insane. So I said,
Mhm.
okay, at this point, I have now a few trucks, I have a lot of equipment, I have great teams in place. Like, okay, that will be a great experience. I want to go out there to Katrina and see if we can add value and help people. First of all, we got there, it was a
I gotta pause you there because this
yeah.
I don't want the listeners to miss this point. Did you get paid to go to Katrina?
Oh no.
Did you get paid? I mean, listen to me, guys. If you want to build your business, and the numbers he just threw out were incredible numbers, he was willing to go somewhere that needed him for free. I'm gonna say it again in case you guys missed it. You believe in your shit, you believe in your product, you believe in your business. You should be willing to see a problem on TV, and then you're coming from, is it from Cali that you're coming from? He came from
Yeah.
Cali, went all the way to New Orleans because he saw a problem. He felt like he can help, and nobody paid him to do it. And look at what he's built now. This is what has to happen. If you really believe in your business and believe in your product and believe in your service, wherever you see the need, you just got to go fill it. Figure out a way to get there, and you just simply have to go where you need it. Anyway, continue. I want to make sure I made that point.
Absolutely, man. You're yeah, you're great. Went out to Katrina, devastation. There was so much work. Everybody needed our help. It was
Mhm.
insane. The other thing that I experienced at the same time, because there were so many other restoration companies. Now we're not competing with each other because there is so much business for
Mhm.
everybody.
Right.
But at night, when we spend time together, realize because everybody's just sharing information because we're not competing. Everybody's from different places around
Yeah, they all
the
saw it.
US,
Oh,
right?
right. Right. Mhm.
Yeah. So we're not competing. And what I'm learning is most of the companies that been in business for much longer than me, 10, 15 years, some of them 20 years, they average anywhere between 3 to 700,000 in sales. And I'm like, what's going on here? I'm brand new to this country. I'm learning the language. I'm not really completely understanding everything. And I'm already north of 3 million. Why they're stuck at 3 to 600? Because when I talk to them, they do want to grow.
Right.
Then I noticed that they are very passionate about the trade itself. So they can spend hours talking to me about the blowers and dehumidifiers and how they cut the walls and how much what's the difference between carpet and wood. It's all great information. And in
Yeah.
my head, it's like, okay, but we want to grow the company,
Hmm.
right? We want to scale. What's the strategy? Like, how do you generate leads? Like, what's going on here?
Yes.
Right. So I spend more time talking to them. And then I brought up the idea, what if we can work together because you can teach me more about the trade because I'm new in this business, but
Yeah.
I can work with you in lead generation and I can maybe help you open up your mind a little bit, thinking about strategies and growth and here and there, because I know that you want to be above the $1 million in sales. This is where you really start to make good income.
Yeah.
So I play with that idea. And then when I came back to Cali, I'm like, okay, I have to give it a try. I'm going to follow up with some of the guys and let's see if I can make it happen. And I'm going to try to generate leads where they are.
Yeah.
I did one license agreement, then the second one, the third one. At one point, I had 10 different license agreements, and I'm seeing, wow, I'm actually adding value to these people, and I see how their business grow. And we all now working together, right? So we're sharing information, we're helping each other. I'm helping them with strategy, sales, and lead generation, and on and on. So at one point, the lawyer that helped me with the license agreement told me, Idan, listen, you are becoming a franchise. And I'm like, what do you mean a franchise? What
Hmm.
is a franchise? I never really thought about a
Never
franchise.
thought about
My
right.
thing is like value
Way to
growth,
do it.
value
Yeah.
growth. That's what my focus was always about. That
Hmm.
says, okay, franchise, about 6 months getting into what is the franchise, what is the franchise agreement, what is FDD, what I need to go through. It took me about 6 months just to really start to understand the franchise world.
Hmm.
Overall, it took us about a year to generate our own franchise agreement and FDD. And
Hmm.
this is how we became a franchise.
Right.
Not really thinking about I want to become a franchise. My thought was, how can I add a lot of value and build successful partnerships?
Right. So what I do know about franchises is as you go franchise though, it starts to you have to make sure everything is universal, right? You go to McDonald's in LA, it's going to be the same number two as if you go to a McDonald's out here in Florida. And whenever a company does go franchise, there needs to be a system in place that everybody's on the same page. How are you able to land on that? Because as you said,
Uh,
restoration, water restoration, and all that, there's so many facets of it. And you could have somebody in and say, look, I want to do things my way, I want to do this. How are you able to nail down on the specific things that are going to be needed right now, charge accordingly? And if you want to add extra, hey, you can pay this franchise fee. What were those? What was that like?
so internally, I start looking when we really thought about the franchise and the license agreement and on and on. I start looking at my business. It says like, okay, how can I look at it now as a different support departments?
Mm.
Right? So how are we doing the mold
Ah,
services
yeah.
right here in California? What works well? What is not working? If I bring somebody new to the business,
Mhm.
how would I train him? How would I support him? So I do the same thing with mold, with water damage, with dispatching, with answering the phone. I start breaking everything to silo and says, okay, if I'm going to bring a guy now or a girl to join me, can
Mhm.
I now train them, right? Kind of create a manual around what we do. And can I have a person in each department that can support and train them?
Mm.
So it was a process. It was not done overnight, and it's still
Right.
something that keep evolving and we improving and on,
Yeah.
right? But that's really how we did it. We said,
Yeah.
okay, so this is when to do mold right and to create a very unique customer experience. This is the five things that you have to do here.
Mhm.
And I did the same thing with water damage and mold and everything else that we did as a company. And over time, right?
Mhm.
Now we have a manual for that. Now we have a manual for that. Now we have a manual for another part that the company does, right? And a year after, now I have a manual that really breaks down the entire process. Now I have something that I can act and work with the franchisees, give it to them to follow, but actually train them on it and support them on it as well, right? So is understanding the business model,
Right.
understanding the unique customer experience, understanding how can I bring somebody into the business and help him reach X amount of sale in X amount of time. So let's say $1 million in by the second year. Okay, I'm just saying it as a general thing.
Yes.
What that person need to do every day, every month, every year to be able to reach that,
Mhm.
and what's the uniqueness that we can bring in to his community as a business that really help him, stand aside compared to the rest of the businesses and make sure that it grows and generate business. So that really was the thought,
Yes.
right? That, yeah.
Now,
Most of, if I can
go ahead,
add,
go ahead, go ahead.
most of the franchisors out there, I
Mhm.
think very, very small percentage of franchisors get to above 100 locations,
Mhm.
right? Get above even 20
Yeah,
locations,
very
not
few of
even
them.
100, because they don't think about the franchisor. Now it's a different business, right? So
Mhm.
I have the water damage and mold business, but now I have a it's a different business.
Yeah.
Most people are getting stuck here. They don't know how to make the leap into now I need to create a system.
Right. Now, what role, especially in your business, does the weather play in where you're gonna put, as you as the franchisor, where you're gonna put your focus on? And I ask that because I've done a lot of work with franchises, and I what I've noticed with a lot of franchisors is, let's say you're an LA Fitness, obviously the franchises in LA are gonna have the focus of, I believe the name of Fitness International, the Welches or whatever. They're the people that started LA Fitness. Obviously the signature clubs in LA and the ones that they started, they're focusing a whole lot more on those than the ones that I worked at out in Maryland and stuff like that. So as you're building this out, is there situations where you as a franchisor may have to make the decision, hey, I gotta focus on an area like a Florida that has dealt with all this damage because that's where the people needs me versus, I don't know, a different area that doesn't have as much water damage. Have you found that at all to be any sort of have an effect on your business?
Yeah, I mean the weather have a pretty big effect on our business.
Mhm.
And at the same time, water, mold, and fire happens all the time just because, the way our
And that's what I
structures
mean. I'm
are.
thinking because obviously I'm in Florida, but I'm also thinking of certain places that I might have wildfire. I'm thinking of certain places that have big snowstorms. As that snow melts, if you're in an area where your heat's not that well, I've seen situations like that as well. So it's the need is everywhere, and that's
Yeah.
where like it has to be a challenge for you as the franchisor to say, all right, we need this everywhere, but where am I going to feel the biggest need for all of my franchisees to be affected?
Right, right. So outside of the weather, right?
Mhm,
Storm, snow, fire, on and on. There is water damage, mold, and fire happens just because of the structures, right? Old houses, pipes moves, things
mhm.
breaks, right? So just even if you just take the weather out, there's a huge need to what we do
Yes.
without the weather.
Yes.
Right now, the weather layer, we understand that some areas, let's say more of the East Coast, Florida, we
Hmm.
will need more offices. And
Hmm.
it's not only more offices, we also need stronger operators, right?
Yes.
Because as you know, I mean, we have trailers full of equipment parked in different areas where we know it's more likely
Hmm.
storms will happen and flood will happen, right?
Exactly.
So as a service, it's needed all around the US. We didn't find the small towns in the middle of nowhere
Hmm.
still need our type of services,
Yeah.
right? So it's more of how can we set up in a way, if we have all the franchisees, in a way that we know storms will come through the East Coast, Florida, there's different things that will happen. So we set up centers where we can support them to do a lot more work.
Yes, that is very important because again, like I said, as you're growing and as you're building these calls and these needs, and you were able to master the aspect of getting leads, which is a big deal. Trust me, I've done a lot of stuff with franchisees, and one of the biggest complaints across the board is the franchisor doesn't get us in front of more people. And that's why it's
Yeah.
so gratifying to hear you say, look, I started it because I was getting in front of so many people. So you're not going to have to deal with that problem at all. And that's why I want to now, I'm going to be very respectful of your time, but can you just talk a little bit about the ideal person that you would look for, or would that if they're interested, if they're listening right now, they might be interested in buying into the franchise? Who is the ideal person
Yeah.
to work with, and who's the person that just says, look, we're not working with you? Kind of put all that out there as well.
Yeah, yeah. So we're looking for people that really have empathy, that really understand that our customers going through an emotional disaster. The customer experience is a very, very important part for us,
Mhm.
right? That's why we have the fresh start culture, right? Because we want to show up in a certain way, we want to serve in a certain way.
Yeah.
And we're looking for people that have more of like growth mindset, long-term thinking,
Mhm.
right? And people that are willing and want to get out there, right? Build relationship, build a team, be the spirit in the business,
Mhm.
right? It's a people business. I'm a huge believer. Like it's all about people, right?
Mhm.
And I'm seeing some operator that is very hard for them to build a team. So they get stuck. They get stuck in the truck in a way. And there's people that come in and they're full of energy and they want to get out there and they're serious about building the business and building relationship with people in the community, with adjusters, with management companies, and on, but also build a strong team, right?
Yeah.
My goal for our franchisees is not to get stuck in the truck, is to build a good business, work on the business, and be able to scale the business, right? One of the reasons that we sell exclusive territories is because we're not looking to be a system with thousands of franchisees. We're
Mhm.
probably going to be around 400 to 500 franchisees. So I want to
Mhm.
make sure that we have the right people that have the long-term thinking, have empathy, want to build a team. People sometimes, especially now, there's a storm, right? So people will see like, wow, that's a great business. And they want to get into the business just because of it's a trend and it sounds good right now and they want to jump in.
I actually
This
had
is
a
not the
friend.
people I'm looking for.
I had a friend that did that. This was around, it was '08, and that was the big storm in Texas. And he was like, yeah, I'm just gonna go to Texas like a month and hopefully, land a couple contracts doing this. Like, so that person, and that's why I asked you that question because I was actually thinking about him as I asked. You want to avoid the person that decides, okay, it's a big disaster. I'm gonna go help out for a month and get you a couple $1,000 and then move on. No, you actually want people that really want to help, really do want to get.
Stay, build. Yes, yes, yes. Listen, it's not, you go into it for 7 years, 14 years, whatever you dreams, whatever you want to do, but it's building a business. It's really important. I'm making sure when like we say no to most of the people that come to us to buy franchise.
That's
Most of
awesome.
the people don't really have, they're not really serious about building a business.
Hmm.
It sounds good, they will talk about it, but you don't have to work in the business all day, but you need to have this, the spirit that you bring into the business. Building it, people want to work with people that excite them, that they see their future with that person that own the company.
Yeah.
Right? So this is the people that I'm looking for. The people that just excited because it's a trend and it sounds good and wow, I saw that I can make $10,000. I'm gonna be rich over the first year. Not, it's not, it doesn't work this way.
Is there something in the way you train them that teaches them to think long term? Like, with some realtors, they're more so focused on commercial or residential instead of residential. Is there something that you're doing that's helping them land these long-term contracts?
Yeah, yeah, of course. Yeah. So first of all, we bring some of the contracts in, as a franchisors, we have sales, we have a lot of other efforts that we have in place to bring those accounts in. But yes, we work with them to really understand, look at the account over the next 7 years, the next 10 years, right? And what's the real value of the account? Because sometimes when you start to work with a new account, they will give you smaller jobs. So you will get a project for $500, for $1,000. It's not a lot of profit. So we're saying, okay, don't look at this one job that you're getting because this is where you have an opportunity now to build relationship that will last over the next 10 years. So let's say now you do a job for $500, 1,000. Let's assume that that account will give you $200,000 a year. If you
Hmm.
look over the next 10 years, you're doing this small job to get revenue of $2 million over the next 10 years just for one account.
Yep. Yep. And
Now we're
in
changing
order for you
the
to do that, though, you really have to know your shit. Like you really have to go in there and say, I'm fixing this by this month. You're gonna need this by this day. You're gonna need this. And like you said, that follow-up process is gonna be
yeah,
incredibly important because you can't just go in there, patch up the problem, take your money, and be out. No, you gotta check everything and tell
exactly.
this month you're gonna be needing this. This is the offer. Let's just get it on the books now.
Yeah, yeah. And we're very big on when you speak with a manager or adjuster, try to figure out what his goals, what
Right.
he's trying to achieve. He want to get a raise, he want to now manage a bigger building. Whatever his goals,
Hmm.
my job, my hope is that I can add value to him.
Hmm.
So
And
now
you're
it's
talking
not so much
about
about the $500 loss.
the insurance adjuster, right?
Yeah, yeah. Whoever it is in front of me. How can I add value to him? I'm
Yep.
not going to show up and just speech and it's all about me, me, me. No, ask question, listen, really try to see what is it that he's trying to achieve and how can I be as a service to him?
Mm.
And this is where you really build meaningful relationship because it's people. People forget it. They go into a building and they look at a person. He is a manager of a building. I see a dollar sign. And I'm like, no, enough. Put it aside. There's a person in front of you. You have a goal. You have a dream. He have a dream. Don't just think about what can I take from him. Think what can I give him? How can I help him now reach what he is want to reach? When I have that approach, I used to do things. I used to go and meet department, managers and really ask them this question. And if somebody is going to tell me, listen, Idan, I'm really trying to build a stronger team here that will keep the building maintained and here and there. I will go, I'll spend some time on what is the best way for a manager to build a strong team and what is the system that he can use so he can really achieve what he wants to achieve. And I'll find these articles and I'll send it to that guy and I'll say, listen, I thought about you and I read these articles. Do you see it helpful? Now the conversation that me and him are having, it's not about can you give me project?
Hmm.
Is can I be part of your journey of getting to where is it that you want to get to?
Listen,
Now it's
you
yeah,
don't get this in business school. You don't get this in business school.
yeah.
People, relationships and people, because you just took it to another level because you're right. The insurance adjuster has to be somebody that you are linking arms with. It's like a quarterback and the receiver relationship to where y'all got to be on the same page because this is not something that your average person just wants to pay for, right? It's not something that's just going to come up like it's groceries. No, this is something that they procrastinate, then they can procrastinate, they're going to try to work around it. At some point, look, I just got to pay for it. And then the insurance adjusters come in. And if you guys are locked arms, hey, the insurance adjuster, hey, this is my guy. Water damage, all that. This is the guy who's going to give you the best deal. Boom. And that referral
Exactly.
element is huge, especially in a business where you're basically in a situation where people are forced to pay for something that again they're not really wanting to do, but they have to do it because it's going to be the best thing for them.
Absolutely. And the same approach with
Mhm.
building a team,
Yep.
right? So I have my team, somebody comes in, what is your dreams? What is it? Where do you want to be a year from today, 2 years from today? How can I help you get to where you want to get? Right. So it's a very simple approach, but it's very powerful
Right.
because
Simple
you're
but
actually
not easy.
working with people.
There's a difference between being simple and easy. And so many of you guys try to work around these simple things because it's not easy to do, but they're simple things. And if you stay focused on the fundamentals, then you will be successful. But too often, the one of the downfalls of having the internet is we get distracted a lot and we start to go around in situations and we start, looking away from what it is we need to be. Keep the main thing the main thing. Make sure you're
Yeah.
focusing on the fundamentals, and that's simply serving the people and getting your service in front of the right person. Don't overthink that. That's exactly what it is you need to be doing. So the
Amen.
what? Yeah, thank you. I've been doing this for quite some time. And the thing that gets me so excited is when I see people making it that came from the philanthropic mindset. You hear so much, especially if you listen to the mainstream media, you would think that great business owners are just really nasty people and that they're people that don't have a heart and stuff like that. That's the picture that a lot of the mainstream media tries to paint. What I try to do with this show is show you, look, if you're going to be in business, you have to have a big heart. You have to care about people and you have to be about creating jobs and doing a lot of good for people and forget all the bullshit that they put out there in the mainstream media. That is not the way business owners are. It's not the ones that make it.
Absolutely. And the last thing you want to do is find your financial success
Hmm.
with zero fulfillment in your life.
Absolutely. Yep.
This is where you get to the top of the mountain and you look around, it's like, what? This still feels very empty. Like I achieved everything financially, but it feels very, very empty. So that's
Mhm.
why I'm there. There's a big part that I'm keep talking to our franchisees about. You want to have fulfillment. And you get fulfillment by really caring, by using your strength, your abilities, building relationship, helping people come up with you. Then you get to the top of the mountain. It's like, wow, okay, I'm fulfilled. You're gonna be fulfilled before you even getting to the top of the mountain, just because you're really working with people and you're adding value. It's
Mhm.
amazing how it works, right? We're getting everything upside down. I mean, we all grew up this way, right? We thought once we're gonna get the big house, the car, and everything, then we're gonna be happy. And we're getting everything. We get to the top of the mountain. Is no, I'm not happy. I'm
Same.
still stressed. I'm still worried. But if you flip it around, you're going to find the fulfillment and the happiness as you're climbing the mountain.
Hmm.
It's a very different approach to business, to life.
Yes. And it's important that you emphasize that as well. So, you sort of already mentioned this, but can you just tell people a little bit about more about your vision, what you want to build next? What can they expect coming down the pipeline?
Yeah, so we still have a lot of growth with our company, right? We want to add more franchisees, where our goal is really to create a very unique customer experience within the restoration industry.
Hmm.
Right? So we're still thriving to with new technologies and new approach to really have good communication with our team, with our clients. So really keep improving it and optimize it over, as we do every day. And keep going the same way, right? As we see different problems and opportunities. For me, problem is opportunities is the same thing, right? Keep exploring into other silos. So going into emergency plumbing, roofing, other areas that maybe we
Good.
can bring
I like the
in.
way you thinking, man.
Yeah, bring it all together. And technology is a big thing for us. We use AI, we build a lot of our own technologies. So I'm involved in, of course, in our business, that I moved to the founder position. We have a great CEO in place. We've been working together for more than 15 years now. A great relationship, and just keep looking at it from a place of like, okay, what other opportunities? How can we add more value to our franchisees, to our client by adding maybe more services? But the core of everything is the good customer experience,
Mhm.
right? Because once something is working very, very well, the same thing as the story, right? So we start from the carpet cleaning to the water damage, from that to the marketing, from that to the franchise, now into AI and other areas that we're looking into, keep
Right.
growing and keeping the same. I honestly feel like I just started,
Just getting started. Yeah, that's
just
the
getting started.
beautiful thing about the right franchise. You're gonna feel. I've spoken to a lot of people that are in that world. You will feel like you're just getting started every single day. Every single day
Yeah.
will be the first day of work. And imagine that feeling. Imagine having that feeling and knowing that you're making a very lucrative lifestyle doing that and knowing that it's actually being given back and you're doing something productive. So, what's the best way if anyone's listening in and they want to work with you, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
So I'm more active on LinkedIn. So my name is unique enough, Idan Shpizear, and I'll come up on LinkedIn.
I'll
And
find
there's a lot
another
of
one.
information. And there's a lot of information on 911restorationfranchise.com, right? If somebody's interested and you want to learn more about the franchise, there's there. LinkedIn, you can see a lot of other projects I'm involved in. And yeah, that's the best place.
And all of that will be included in the show notes as well. So, Idan, the final thing I do to close out all the shows is I want you to use your imagination a little bit. You are, I believe you said it was 2000 or 99 or something like that. You're in your Volvo. You only got $800. You don't know exactly what it is you're going to do. Pretend that that version of Idan is coming to the Zoom room. Give him some words of encouragement, and we will officially close.
Oh, you got it. That's really right. If there is a little bit of hesitation, I'll be there like, you got it. Just go. You got it.
Just clean that next carpet, man. It's gonna be a future in it, and you're
Yeah.
gonna figure it out, man. Listen, I'm super glad we got connected. Looking forward to keeping up with your journey and all that stuff. All that being said, fellow teammates, continue to move swiftly. We will talk more soon.